On the night of May 23, 2014, Albert and his longtime friend, Craig, were at a bar in Long Beach. Craig, a wheelchair-bound former Mongols member, had known Albert for decades. Later, Albert would tell detectives that Craig was more than just a friend. He was his mentor and someone he would take a bullet for. Also at the bar were Michael and his girlfriend, Samantha. According to testimony, Albert and Craig began flirting with Samantha. Michael became uncomfortable and asked a bouncer to intervene. The bouncer refused, telling Michael that Albert was a Mongols member. The situation continued to escalate. Craig grabbed Samantha's buttocks. Michael confronted Albert and told him to stop. Albert responded by punching Michael, and a fight broke out. Although Albert was the larger man, witnesses testified that Michael got the better of the fight, knocking Albert to the ground and landing several punches before security intervened. A bouncer separated the two men and forced them to leave through different exits in an effort to end the confrontation. Albert wheeled Craig toward Craig's green pickup truck. Michael walked across the street to a nearby gas station. Instead of leaving, the argument continued from opposite sides of the street. Michael shouted at Albert, challenging him to continue the fight. Albert yelled back, "You got the shitty end of the deal. If you want to go in the alley and finish it, we can handle it." Craig also yelled at Michael, calling him a punk. He then shouted toward Albert, "Shut that punk up, or I'm going to shut him up myself." Moments later, the confrontation turned into gunfire. Albert reached into the passenger side of Craig's pickup truck and removed a Glock semi-automatic handgun. He fired all 10 rounds from the magazine while Michael moved behind a parked van for cover. Michael was not struck. Instead, multiple bullets hit the van, causing extensive damage, while another round struck a nearby house. After emptying the magazine, Albert reloaded the handgun. Witnesses testified that before leaving, Albert shouted, "There's more where that came from." Albert then left the scene with Craig. Michael briefly followed the pickup truck to obtain the license plate number before giving the information to Samantha, who contacted police. Investigators traced the truck to Craig's address, where they found him sitting in the driver's seat and placed him under arrest. Not long afterward, Albert voluntarily went to the police station. He admitted that he had been the shooter and told detectives Craig was not responsible. During the interview, Albert described his long history with the Mongols motorcycle club. He said he had been a member for approximately 28 years, although he considered himself retired. He explained that Craig was a respected elder, someone he looked up to, and someone he had known for roughly 30 years. Albert told detectives he had a world of respect for Craig and would take a bullet for him or for any respected member of what he called my Mongol nation. He also said he was willing to die for his Mongols patch. Albert explained that he became very upset because he believed Michael had disrespected Craig. Referring to Craig as his brother, Albert said Michael had been giving my brother a hard time. After leaving the area, Albert admitted he disposed of the Glock by throwing it into the ocean. At trial, Albert testified in his own defense. He claimed Michael continued yelling insults after the fight and made derogatory remarks about both Craig and Albert's mother. Albert also testified that he believed Michael reached toward his waistband, making him fear Michael might be armed. Albert denied intending to shoot Michael. Instead, he testified that he fired at the van while Michael remained behind it. After reloading, Albert said he told Michael, "There's more where that came from," but then decided to leave instead of firing additional shots. Other witnesses described the shooting differently. A nearby resident testified she saw Albert firing while Michael hid behind the van. The owner of the van testified that the gunfire caused more than $1,200 in damage, including bullet holes throughout the vehicle, a destroyed tire, and damage to one of the seats inside. He also testified that he received a phone call that initially made him fearful about testifying, although by the time of trial, he was willing to appear in court. Before trial, Albert's attorneys argued that evidence about his Mongols membership should be excluded because the incident was not charged as a gang-related crime. The judge disagreed, allowing limited testimony about Albert's relationship with Craig because it was relevant to the prosecution's theory of motive. Prosecutors argued Albert's own statements about his loyalty to Craig and the Mongols helped explain why the confrontation escalated from a fistfight into a shooting. The jury was instructed to consider the gang evidence only for that limited purpose. After hearing all of the evidence, the jury rejected the attempted murder charge. Instead, Albert was convicted of the lesser-included offense of attempted voluntary manslaughter. He was also convicted of felony vandalism for the extensive damage caused to the parked van during the shooting. Thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.